Yep. Hi, everyone. I think we're live. And welcome back to PARSIQ YouTube AMAs. We're here with Daniel, who is now the product owner for IQ Protocol. And as you might have guessed from Daniel being here and my shirt, so today's AMA is dedicated mostly to IQ Protocol to answer any questions you might have about the product, the project, and everything related. We will briefly touch upon PARSIQ as well, but I will take the majority of the questions regarding IQ first. So, hey, Daniel.
Hey, Tom. Nice to be here.
Yeah. So, yeah, you had an AMA on Discord, I think last week or
yes,
2 days ago.
correct.
Yep. So I haven't read it, but anything you'd like to follow up upon for the community before I get started?
Well, it was mostly about IQ progress and what's in the pipeline for now. So we shared a lot of exciting news. Like we have almost 40 projects waiting in line for our devs to catch up. So yeah, definitely a lot of work going on right now, and we have Mysterium waiting in the wings, ready to launch, already live on testnet, just waiting on the final touches on their end. And yeah, so very exciting times right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of ground to cover. So before we get into the community questions, I thought I'd go over some, let's say, frequently asked ones. And I have a list here collected by our team from across all the social media accounts and communities, most often asked questions. So one is, why is IQ token needed? So as IQ Protocol is a completely separate product from PARSIQ. They work in synergy, but it's a project on its own. It's a decentralized finance protocol to unlock utility for digital assets and connect, let's say, the metaverse and DeFi and NFTs can converge using this. It's not related to PARSIQ directly, except that some co-founders overlap. The team, it's a joint team, although it will be separated. So as a decentralized finance protocol, it will have its own token because it will be its own decentralized network. And for people to participate in the network, to vote on protocol proposals, as well as some of the economic mechanisms, there needs to be a separate token for this. So PRQ is not for this. PRQ is for the PARSIQ platform exclusively, and there is no point in making one token for completely separate projects. So in our case, no, IQ Protocol token will not remove any need for PRQ. So PRQ is a utility token for the PARSIQ platform. IQ Protocol powers the tokenomics for PRQ, while at the same time, PARSIQ monitoring is needed as infrastructure, as data infrastructure for IQ and all of its participants to function. So it's a symbiotic relationship, but completely different products, completely different projects. And actually, IQ will have its own dedicated team, although it's a joint effort. So think about it. What's a good example? Like think Terra, Luna, and Encore protocol. So Encore is built on Terra, and I think they're even run within the same team, but they're completely different products for different use cases. Each have their own token, and one doesn't diminish the other. Actually, it's the other way around. So Encore creates more use cases for Terra, for Luna. So this is the way I see PRQ and IQ. Daniel, do you have any thoughts?
Exactly, and just to add, like you said, we're in the process of creating our own separate team dedicated fully to IQ and the IQ NFT space. And what we have right now is a handful of people completely dedicated to IQ that doesn't do anything but IQ, me being one of them. And then we have people that liaise between the teams and make sure that when we're ready to move to Polygon, everything's ready on the monitoring side and so forth. So like you're saying, it's a completely synergistic relationship that works completely seamless. But going forward, we're going to grow the IQ team by a lot. Just talked to Alan previous to this meeting, and we have a new engineer coming on board that's going to be starting in January, and he's going to be exclusively working on the NFT space, which is going to propel it forward even faster than we hope for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, IQ team is going to grow at its own pace. So just to reiterate, these are different assets, different products that only power each other, and they benefit from each other. They're not competing with each other, and one doesn't take away the value from another. So I only see it as a plus for both.
Well, if anything, IQ adds further value to PRQ. Because without PRQ, there is no IQ. Like I've stated multiple times in the chats, IQ solely functions if there is a monitoring platform behind it. So of course, the client can choose to build their own, but looking at at what we've built with the monitoring platform and the price point we've come in at, it doesn't make any sense to start developing yourself. You might as well use our services.
Exactly. PARSIQ is a data infrastructure platform. IQ is a decentralized finance protocol, completely different, and only add value to each other. So another thing that we've seen some community members be concerned about is that there's been a lot of attention and effort directed at IQ protocol and is often discussed in PARSIQ channels. And by the way, I think so now that IQ protocol has its own social media channels, it's good to keep these conversations separated so that each project can have its own time in the limelight. And the concern is that people know that there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up that is IQ protocol related. So why should they be excited about PRQ? Well, I think there's more reason than ever to be excited for PARSIQ. Because what you have to understand is that the projects are different stages. IQ protocol is an early stage project. PARSIQ is an established and sort of growth stage right now. So they will have different kinds of developments happening. For PARSIQ, we have exciting stuff lined up. I mean, on the product side, UI UX is ready. The new UI UX for the PARSIQ portal is ready at staging and will be released by the end of this year. Retrospective smart triggers are actually also ready, but we want to improve them a little bit, because right now, for example, collecting information, like if you take a Uniswap pool that's really old and collecting information from the last 1 million blocks. I don't know how many clients there will be who will require that much data, but there might be some. And it could take quite some time. So we want to improve the speed so that you could get that data almost instantly. No one else does this. So as soon as this is done, we're pushing them live. Reverse triggers are also under heavy development and will be released next year, hopefully in Q1. And we'll have a ready-made use case for reverse triggers for trading that all of our community can use and take advantage of. It's a really cool one, and you could potentially actually make money by using this. So no manual work, everything automated using PARSIQ reverse triggers. Additionally, there's lots to some things that we cannot disclose, but we are demonstrating our technology right now to some of the biggest DeFi projects in the space, some of the biggest games in the space, and even some government bodies from certain countries. So if any one of those goes well, I think you'll be hearing about this next year for sure. So different stages, different types of developments. Expect different things from both projects. But I think 2022 is the growth year for PARSIQ. It's further along. It's an established product with users. It's relatively known in the market. So now it's time to just grow, grow, grow. While IQ Protocol is sort of more in beta mode and ready for a full rollout next year and ready for adoption. So yeah, I wouldn't worry that there's nothing going on at PARSIQ. PARSIQ team is actually much larger than IQ, and there's much more going on in that sense. But different stages, different things coming up. Yes, we have a question from John. I don't know if he already posted it or not, but the question is about ChainMyth. Congrats on the partnership with ChainMyth and the news they will utilize IQ Protocol. Given they will be launching their NFTs on Solana, does it mean we just saw a free stringed bow, NFT renting, a new IQ pool, and Solana integration all in one? Well, they won't all come at the same time. So new IQ pool, yes, all of those things will come. The Solana integration, the new pool, but at different times. First, we will roll out the NFT version on EVM compatible chains. I think Daniel can expand on this a bit more, and then move on to Solana. But meanwhile, we're getting these commitments from, we are collaborating, working together with these games, because some of these games want custom logic, custom work that we need to prepare for. Daniel, anything?
Yeah, I think what we've seen in the discussions with the potential clients and projects that want to use both platforms really is there's a lot of leeway in the way they want to do things, and there's a lot of understanding on the immense project that it is to roll out on separate chains and non-EVM compatible ones as well. We are working on the back end on pushing adoption forward to Solana, and hopefully in the new year we'll see something exciting there. But right now we're focused on the EVM compatible chains. We have Polygon up and running. We've been doing testnet for a while now. We are ready to go to mainnet, and as far as doing research into other chains, we have also dedicated personnel doing just that right now. We've just onboarded a person who is looking into chains, testing out, porting over projects, seeing if there are any caveats that we need to look at if we were going to be processing on that chain as well. And yeah, it's looking really good right now. As you mentioned, we're in the very early stages of growth. We need to figure out the entire scope of what we're trying to do and figure out a nice and easy way to a complete rollout. Because as I mentioned before, we're 5 dedicated people right now. Hopefully we're going to be onboarding a lot more. But in the beginning, each project to onboard is a lot of work, a lot of manual work, a lot of working on protocols and manual transactions all the time. As we grow and as we gain the experience, we will automate a lot of the work needed to be done for onboarding projects. And hopefully one day we'll have a fully automated platform that would require no efforts on our part to onboard new projects. And that's the next level of growth where we're going to see hundreds of millions in TVL in the protocol.
So there was another question by Garcia Capital. With NOVI going live, is PARSIQ involved in any way? Look, obviously I cannot answer this, but whether we like it or not, DM NOVI, they will be part of the DLT industry, and we will work with those chains. All right, let's dive into the community questions in the comments section. IQT is a governance token. will each individual token have voting rights, or will a holder need X amount to achieve voting? If the latter, can you pool tokens for voting? It's not decided yet, but we are leaning towards the pooling of tokens to get the necessary threshold for a vote. How much IQT out of 50 million is allocated for PARSIQ stakers? You will see a dedicated announcement for all the airdrops that are going to happen. So obviously the majority is going for the PARSIQ pool, but we also want early adopters of other pools to be rewarded, at least to some extent. So please wait for the official numbers, official details of when it will be, how much it will be, what will be the logic. This is still all unannounced. And just to clarify, the airdrop eligibility doesn't end with this year, with 31st of December. The eligibility for the PARSIQ, 1 million PARSIQ incentives program ends, but there will be others after that. So it doesn't mean you have to storm out and withdraw your staked holdings. The IQ Protocol token eligibility will continue into next year until announced otherwise. So watch out for details. US law did not allow coin-based lending. DeFi coins like Aave are not doing good in market. IQT is into DeFi. Will there be lesser focus in market in DeFi? So I do agree that not all of DeFi is doing well, but some of it is doing very well. So we see new protocols coming and having massive revenues, massive TVL, and so it's not like all of DeFi is doing badly. I think everyone who is doing something new and innovative is doing well. And this is where IQ Protocol is. We're doing something that no one else really is doing this way. So I don't see a concern here. Another aspect to consider is that IQ Protocol is not just standard DeFi. It is a DeFi primitive on top of NFTs and other assets. So it unlocks value from them. It's the convergence of NFTs and DeFi. I think it opens completely new possibilities, and I believe that gaming, the NFT space, and everything related, it is the next big thing that will bring in the next 100, 200, 500 million users into crypto, and IQ Protocol will be the DeFi infrastructure for these games. So I don't see a concern here.
And can I just add to that even though Aave has a lot of pools that are very little utilized, what we're focusing on IQ is tokens that actually have real world utility. So looking at Mysterium, that coin unlocks entry into a decentralized VPN network, for example. Looking at PARSIQ, it unlocks services you can use today. A lot of the projects on Aave doesn't really have anything. That's why there isn't a lot of utility or a lot of borrowing going on. But we're aiming for creating a platform that is for projects that actually have value in their token, and it's not just some future thing or a possible thing. We're talking about real world utility right now.
Yeah, exactly. And in terms of actual adoption and usage, we don't have to find all these users who will be renting and borrowing. We will tap into the user bases of those projects, those products, those games, those NFT marketplaces, the guilds. They will all provide us the users, and users will provide liquidity. So I think we are just the cross-platform, cross-multiverse infrastructure.
Yeah, we're the tokenomics expander, if you will.
Yeah. Things heating up on the play-to-earn front. Currently, both games are Solana-based. How close is PARSIQ to integrating on Solana? So obviously, we're going to do the EVM compatible chains first. What's needed to speed this up? Well, as you know, Solana is non-EVM compatible. It's written in Rust, not Solidity. So it's going to take time to actually implement this. I know that it's we need to speed up because we have a pipeline of over 100 projects waiting in line to potentially integrate, and a bunch of them are on Solana. So we know better than anyone that it needs to be done, and it will be done. Unless, so we will try after releasing the EVM compatible versions. We'll be focusing on doing it on Solana. It is possible that we will be using some kind of other tooling like converters, like Neon Labs is a good partner of ours, and they're working on a product that will allow you to port your Solidity contract to Solana. We might be using them. So all depends. It's definitely a priority because, like I said, too many projects already waiting for us to be on Solana network. The IQ protocol was supposed to be exclusively on CoinMetro. Is it planned to have it on other exchanges? So IQ protocol is a decentralized protocol. It works at the blockchain layer, and it can have hundreds of front ends. You can have a front end for it on CoinMetro. You can have a front end for it within a game. You can have a front end with it on a guild's UI. You know, it will be in a lot of places, including exchanges.
Yeah, and something we've been working hard at is releasing the new SDK for the IQ protocol, and that's something we actually released last Friday. So
Exactly.
now we're open to integrating with pretty much anything, and it's something that's been requested from multiple parties as well, including one of the, if not the biggest metrics data platform within blockchain.
Can you explain whitelist process? Just joining Discord is good, or we need to keep sending messages? Yeah, Daniel, you want to take this one?
Well, it's a bit hard to explain exactly what you need to do, but in general, it's all about participation, helping out new guys coming in, asking questions, creating content for us, sharing our news. Let's look at Telegram for our normal PARSIQ community, for example. If I say John Russell, everybody's going to know who he is because he helps out, he answers questions, he shares our content. He's good at finding exactly the answers people are asking. So just basically participate, like be positive. We encourage our community to ask critical questions, and that's okay. A lot of our OG members know a lot of answers to all these critical questions, and just participate is basically what I want to say.
Yeah, we want to build a really robust community for IQ protocol, and if you help us build it, then that will make you eligible for the whitelist, which is not to say this is the only whitelist program we will run. We might have others, so keep an eye out. What launchpads were considered for IQT launch? Well, we won't announce. The announcement will come when it comes. Obviously, we've spoken to most of the IDO platforms in this space. One quite big centralized token sale platform is an investor in the IQ protocol private round. So that's another option. So you will find out everything when it's time. On what network IQT will be available from day one? So ETH will be the native token, but we are aiming to do bridges to multiple chains. So it will be tradable on different chains, including low-cost chains, pretty much from day one or close to that. There is no visibility of adoption thus far on both IQ Protocol and PARSIQ. How does the team plan to share numbers with public? Well, our BD team, the IQ Protocol BD team, has done a stellar job, like absolutely stellar job at building the pipeline for IQ Protocol. Like I said, we have over 100 projects in that list, a lot of whom are either integrating or they are waiting for us to release the certain products, or they are soft committed. And among them are, some of the biggest games in the space, some of the biggest guilds in the space, some really known projects in the space, both, big, small, old, new, all kinds of anyone who can benefit. So the pipeline is, in my opinion, it's insane. It's the BD team has really was really up to the task. So we're just releasing this step by step. You've seen ChainMyth, you've seen Sorcery, and a few others and that's just the tip. So as we progress on the product side, we'll be announcing all of those players who will be utilizing the IQ protocol. I'm pretty proud of the pipeline. Yeah, PARSIQ, like I said, again, PARSIQ has had tremendous growth in terms of adoption. We still have some gaps to service the really big boys in this space. So we are hard at work to fill those gaps, and they're all waiting in line and for us to do that, for them to adopt. So I think in 2022 we'll see some big names attached. Can you explain PARSIQ's relationship with Forefront? Well, it sort of ties in to what I've already mentioned in today's AMA, but just wait and see. Old roadmap, reverse triggers were forecasted for Q4. Yeah, as was discussed, we have pushed it because some resource went to IQ, some resources went to other features, other products that we felt are important right now. So, but again, as I said, we will be releasing reverse triggers next year pretty soon with an awesome use case that you all can leverage to actually earn money from DEX trading.
And actually, the prototype IQ NFT that's been up internally in the IQ team is also looking to utilize just that function for numerous things. And I think you're going to love what we're going to build with that.
Will there be more AMAs with partners on PARSIQ Telegram? Yeah, I think there will be. I mean, we have a lot of partners to onboard, and we will be doing AMAs in their communities. They will be doing in ours. And for IQ, the same. I mean, we have IQ now has a massive network of both investors, partners, potential integrations, and we could tap into each other's communities. So you'll be seeing a lot of that. As it's nearly Christmas, when will a tier 1 exchange? Yeah, well, that's the favorite question. When will be the tier 1 exchange? You will know only when there will be a tier 1 exchange. When can we expect Mysterium to be launched in IQ? Daniel?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we were actually ready from our side. We're just waiting for them, basically. They're still testing out a lot of things. Most of you probably didn't know, but Mysterium has been in the development of IQ from a long time. And they actually created their own version of the SDK in Golang. So they're very familiar with the platform, but they're still figuring out exactly what type of metrics they want to pull out, and what kind of how to set up the contracts and the automated interest rate discovery and so forth. Just want to fine tune everything so when they go ready, they don't need to change anything. But we got a lot of positive comments from them yesterday, I think. So it's looking really good. I expect to see it go live before the end of the year. And after that, well, we'll have to see which one wants it the most. But I'm expecting at least a handful of projects to go live in the first quarter of next year. And if we're able to onboard more people for IQ, that number might grow. But that's at least what I'm expecting right now.
And this year we got some kind of hint that staked PRQ could also be used as liquidity for DEXs. So no, an idea has been thrown around that you could use your staked PRQ as collateral to take out a loan. So while your PRQ is idle in the IQ protocol renting pool, you would be able to take your LP token, the interest-bearing IPRQ, and take a loan against it on another protocol that we have partnered with that I don't know if I mentioned or not, probably not. So that's an idea. We haven't pulled the plug on it. Just not a priority right now, but it's a cool use case. The moment of launching IQT will be available in both DEX and CEX or just DEX. Most likely only DEXs on the first day or two and with centralized exchanges to follow. Besides IQ Protocol, what are PARSIQ's most important milestones for next year? And which are the ones that will generate more enthusiasm in the community? Well, I think we can split them. First of all, new product releases like product features, functionality, like we've discussed. New UI, UX will be this year. Maybe we will time it with also a PARSIQ website revamp, which is also ready. Beginning of next year, we will have retrospective smart triggers, the fast ones that I talked about, which a lot of big DeFi players want to use already. Then we have the reverse triggers for trading and the public marketplace. So I think, personally, I think from the product side, public marketplace, developer hub, and SDK will be the ones that will generate a lot of enthusiasm. We've seen what kind of submissions came from the Gitcoin hackathon. And with those releases, we can grow the developer community exponentially. And developers will be able to build applications on top of PARSIQ and monetize them. They will be able to integrate those applications into other products. It's really, really awesome. We have actually used some of the applications that the developers built during Gitcoin, and they work like a charm. It's really awesome. We will integrate some of them inside the platform as well. So eventually the platform will be like, it will be a complete hub for blockchain data. So you will be able to monitor real-time data, historical data, really visualize it. It's a one-stop shop. So I think lots of excitement for the new platform releases and for the developer part to get people building more on PARSIQ. What else? Well, of course, as I said, we are demonstrating our technology for a lot of big players. You know, some of the huge games have monitoring needs. We actually pitched them IQ, but turned out they also need monitoring, and that's a very common theme. And to some of the biggest DeFi protocols in the space, and some government bodies as well from different countries. So I think next year should be the year for adoption. We are also doing something for the AWS Amazon product set, a use case which I don't believe anyone has done, and it solves some problems on for blockchain projects or blockchain related projects on AWS. So you'll be hearing more on that as well. Lots of huge stuff coming. I mean, I think the adoption curve by the mainstream traditional parties is it's almost happening, and this is PARSIQ's biggest market opportunity.
Yeah, and with the new tools, I can't wait to see what the community comes up with, and I can't imagine the community not growing exponentially as well as we provide completely new tools.
Is all PARSIQ products going to be implemented in IQ Protocol? Well, not quite. There's specific functionalities that we need, that IQ Protocol needs from the PARSIQ platform to function properly. But yeah, all the IQ Protocol itself, as well as every project, every game, every project deploying a renting pool on IQ Protocol will be using PARSIQ technology.
Yeah, and the new technology we're talking about now with reverse triggers and stuff, that's actually something we're looking at implementing into the prototype version of IQ NFT, for example. But I'll have a lot more details coming out on that. But the use cases, what we've been doing is talking to the companies that are going to use the platform and hearing what they want to do. And with them, we've come up with some amazing use cases, and it's going to be utilizing all the technology PARSIQ has to offer. So we're going to be playing on all the technology tangents that we have.
Exchange coins like BNB and KCS will be offered hodlium model of IQ Protocol to allow low trading fees on their exchanges. Yes, this is, well, we haven't spoken to those two in particular, but we have spoken to exchanges to rent tokens to get discounts on trading fees. So discount tokens is a definite yes for a use case, and it makes sense. If the rental fee is lower, then the discount is higher than the rental fee. It makes sense because there are a bunch of these people who hold these exchange tokens without actually using them for their utility, for the discount fees. Why wouldn't they rent them out?
Exactly, and everybody wins because the exchange gets more clients. So it's a win-win.
Where can we purchase that PRQ Lite? Daniel, I think it's for you.
It's actually a custom-made light here in Denmark. Had a company do it for me, and yeah, it's a bit steep. Let me just say that. I wouldn't recommend buying it if I had to do it again, but it's cool nonetheless.
After NFTs, what is the next niche industry that you think will want to launch or create a pool? Well, I think that within the NFT industry, there's still so much potential that we don't really have to, I mean, with NFTs, gaming is just one use case. We can have, fan
creator
tokens,
coins.
Creator platforms, social platforms. We have real world use cases like renting out real estate or like Airbnb rooms using NFTs, subscriptions using NFTs. I think the NFT space is still untapped, and everything I mentioned has a use case and would actually benefit from IQ Protocol. While IQ and PARSIQ may be separate, I think the concern is that resources that would have been used on PRQ and are now being redirected to IQ growth. Not true. And this is exactly, so the PARSIQ team is quite large. I think we're like 50 people now in total, let's say. And yes, small part of that has been allocated to IQ, but from now on, both are hiring. Both sides are hiring, expanding, and that's what the IQ Protocol fundraise is for. So we could hire more people, more talent for IQ without, actually using the PARSIQ resource. So there will be plenty of resource to share on both sides.
Exactly. And as we may have siphoned a bit from the PARSIQ resource in the beginning, we've grown both teams simultaneously. So we have a lot more resources to utilize.
Noticed another project, GLQ, is capable of triggering on-chain transactions based off events. Have the team looked into this, and how will PRQ's approach to reverse triggers differ? There are actually, I don't know about this project in particular. I haven't looked into them. So whether they do or not have, I've noticed a lot that some projects who claim to have something, actually it doesn't work in the way it's meant to. So I don't know. I have no comment on this particular project, but there are others who are doing like automated on-chain actions. I know Gelato, I know Brink is building something, a few others, but our approach is a bit different, and you will see once we are ready to announce the details. I mean, part of this synergy is that PARSIQ will work in all ways, right? On-chain to off-chain, off-chain to on-chain, cross-chain. So no other automated action will be able to provide this type of flexibility, automation. And I don't know how the private key storage is solved with some of these that I mentioned, or if they even are live at this point in time. But I think what we're building is pretty unique.
Exactly. And some of the projects I've been talking to are utilizing multiple platforms to accomplish something that's actually pretty simple and could be set up through current PARSIQ tech. And we could cover a lot more use cases in the future as well. And they said that's what we really want to focus on is making life easier for ourselves, using one platform to encompass all our needs is the dream. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a platform that can allow projects to build really advanced automation, back and forth, historical, on-chain, real-time, all the nice buzzwords, but in actual reality and functioning.
Exactly. I feel like IQ, more specifically NFT renting, can create a whole new derivatives platform and revenue generating for tons of intangible ideas. Renting power, computation, options. Absolutely. This is absolutely awesome. It's like a new type of decentralized derivative. Yeah, there's renting power, like I said, computation, there's utility renting, there's options. I mean, IQ is perfect for decentralized put and call options, right? So imagine an asset, some kind of tokens that you can rent. And the renting fee that you pay is pretty much the premium for the call option. So you pay upfront to the asset owner who rented it out. And if it's in the money, it gets unlocked to you after the term ends at strike date. And if it's not in the money, it gets unlocked too. That's just something we've discussed with one of the projects who actually wanted to use IQ like this. And I think there's so many use cases to be discovered. Did marketing approach any YouTube influencers for announcing IQT launch? All I can say is that the launch of IQ Protocol products, the launch of the network, the token, and all big milestones will be extremely well covered, because our fundraising round, our traction with all these games and projects who want to integrate has not gone unnoticed. And of course, we have a lot of let's say KOLs, influencers, communities, accounts with large followers who want to cover all these milestones. is the team concerned about low PRQ price at the moment? Well, I think I've covered the price topic before. First of all, the whole market is in a bit of a correction. So, and second of all, well, whether we like it or not, PRQ is not a super liquid token in the sense that it can easily move up and down based on certain events. And for I don't know, I haven't checked the price, 40, 50 cents or so. I have it actually in my background. So
That's about as concerned as he is.
okay, the thing is loading, so I can't see the price. But the point is, just as easily it went from like 80 cents to 45 cents, just as easily it can go back to 80 cents. So these fluctuations for a token that is relatively low cap, mid cap, low cap, let's say, and relatively so not as liquid as, let's say, the top 50 coins or some of the ones that are listed on Coinbase and then some of those bigger exchanges. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you show the progress, if you show the true utility, generate adoption, actual demand, the price can move very fast. So for us, it's a long-term time horizon. We don't care what the price is today because it's pretty funny, seeing some community reactions like when the price was between 70 and 90 cents. So today it was 70, tomorrow it was 90, the day after it was 70 again, and the day after it was 90 again. And it was doom and gloom. It's like BTC going, 49K, everyone is bullish to the moon, loading up. And then it goes to 47K, everyone is bearish, selling. Nothing has changed, So if you're a long-term believer that BTC is a store of value, it's a range. You don't care, right? So this is the way I see a lot of assets, actually, PRQ included. That's my thoughts on it. I know, Daniel, do you want to give your 2 cents?
Yeah, of course. Well, the market's been volatile in the past few weeks, and I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy in a market that it doesn't just go up, or it doesn't drop 90% in one day. Nothing, as you mentioned, fundamentally has changed. For us, we're growing. Our pipeline is insane. Our team is expanding. We have products just on the cusp of coming out. I mean, I can't see a better time to start buying those dips, and it's not financial advice, but make sure you're not over leveraged. Make sure you're not your stomach isn't hurting. Make sure you sleep at night, and make sure you don't spend more than you're comfortable with having in a volatile market. If you aren't happy with your investments, deleverage yourself. That's the best advice I can give. Money isn't worth your personal health, so take care of yourself and make sure you're not spending more money in crypto than you're comfortable with.
Exactly. If you need the money, I mean, it's always good to take some risk off for any asset, really. So, I mean, I've by doing the IQ Protocol fundraise, I've spoken to investors for the first time in my life to some investors, and some of them have millions in PRQ and just hodling. So it's pretty funny. It's I know that most of the investors from our Series A round, I know their tokens are slowly unlocking, and I know exactly what all of them are doing. Most are just taking the IQ, and they have a long-term time horizon. They believe in the adoption of the product, and they don't care. They can wait a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some of them even have a mindset like CZ. Like why would I sell my crypto? I'd like to sell my fiat. So it's individual for everyone. If you're over leveraged in crypto, then risk off a little bit is a good idea. Is PARSIQ B2B? Yes, for the most part, it's B2B. However, some solutions and apps that we will build on PARSIQ and what other developers will build on PARSIQ will be for B2C, and we'll have some retail engagement and retail attention. Do we have any competitors for NFT renting? There are a bunch of NFT renting products that have recently hit the market. Most of them are for collateral or escrow or risk reputational vetting. So in that sense, IQ is completely decentralized, trustless, permissionless, requires no collateral, and has no risk. So it's a serious difference. I've seen some projects mention that they want to use a mechanism in the future, a little bit similar to what we're doing for NFT rentals. But first of all, they're just early stage that haven't implemented this. And secondly, usually these are for specific games. The vision of IQ is to be like cross metaverse, cross multiverse, cross platform, cross chain. So it's not like you can only do this within this one game. What if, hypothetically, this land in Sandbox could not only be used in Sandbox, but you could also do other stuff with it in other games or use it for its utility in other dApps. And this is the vision of IQ, that it would actually allow cross-platform usage of rented items. Cross-chain, cross-platform, we call it the multiverse.
Exactly. Or what if you're a huge concert that want to target specific NFT holders, like we want to target Bored Apes or something else. Want to create eligibility for them as a service provider. So if you hold a Bored NFT ape, and you can participate in our concert at a discounted rate or for free or VIP section, etc. We're trying to build the IQ platform as broad as possible, so we don't limit ourselves in potential use cases down the line. And we've, from the potential projects that want to use it, have heard some amazing use cases. And it's greatly expanded the reach that we initially thought we would have, because we're attacking this in a completely different angle right now. And yeah, it's amazing what we think we can accomplish with this once built. And I just spoke to the IQ team previous to this meeting, and we pretty much have an NFT prototype ready, and now it's just building it. And as mentioned, we even got a new guy coming on board in January, ready to work.
Any large metaverse projects currently involved with IQ Protocol? Well, as I said, we have over 100 projects in the pipeline, and I think half of those are games or guilds, and some of them really, really big names. So the answer is yes. There's a painting behind Daniel Poulsen, the final prize.
This is actually Anatoly's picture. He made this, I can't remember when, and I had to print it because I loved his graphics. I'm really into sci-fi, and it's very futuristic, along with having very strong symbolic value in the way that he thought of. Well, it just shows how his mind really works, part of it at least, in that he can conceptualize really complex things. And going back to when I started at PARSIQ back in November, December of 2020, I had long evening meetings with Anatoly talking about the concept of IQ and all the different things it can accomplish. And he's just an amazing guy, and obviously also a content creator, artist. If you've heard him play the piano, you know. Even has his own Twitch channel if you want to check him out.
Speaking of Anatoly, What is he working on now? Oh, the answer is everything. The guy doesn't stop. He comes, whenever we have a new potential client or company reaching out to us with a problem that our current solutions can solve. I mean, even in the shower, he comes up with some new concept how to solve the problem. So it's up to us to implement it, but he is the architect. IQ Protocol is also intended on tokenization solutions for subscriptions and services. Are there public names you can share info about? So there are a number of projects who want to use IQ for subscription-based access. Those include crypto-native projects, and those include non-crypto-native tech projects who want to tokenize their business and issue a token using the IQ, apply the IQ model to their tokenomics. We cannot announce them now. We need to leave some ammo for next year. So we would actually like to have them on board before announcing some of them. Actually integrated. Is Kadena on your radar for integration? For sure, it is. But it's not the next one. So a little bit more time. Along with NFTs, will IQ also allow leasing of gamer accounts? So I'm not sure about this exact mechanics of each game, but if in some games an account is a blockchain asset, which is transferable, then for sure this will be possible using IQ.
Yeah, this has been part of the things we've been talking about. For NFTs, you could basically have an NFT that's just a referral to an off-chain database. So it can pretty much unlock any content you could think about, be it virtual land, a gamer account. I'm not sure a specific gamer account makes that much sense, but who knows? There might be a client that wants that specific use case. And as I mentioned, we don't want to limit ourselves. So whether you want to use NFT renting for one thing or the other, I don't see us as a limiting factor in what they want to accomplish.
Products in tech are top notch. Don't you guys think phrases like going to the moon and too much price talk dilutes the potential of these projects? Well, I think price talk is pretty minimal from the team side. We sometimes address it just because there's always each AMA someone asks about it. It's always one Binance and what about price? So at certain points we try to address it just by sharing our thoughts on it. But we certainly do not focus on price. Going to the moon, actually, I didn't make this poster, so I'm not the one to blame. But I think this is just some good old-fashioned meme fun for the community.
Yeah, as most of the people following the crypto space know, there are a lot of generic things here that are very blockchain specific. When Moon, when Binance, etc. Even Revolut had cards printed with When Moon, When Lambo, and stuff like that. So it's just a bit of fun,
It's a culture.
Yeah. I do think of ourselves as being very serious in this space, but obviously we all laugh and smile and have fun with the community as well.
Theoretically, how high can APY go for PRQ lenders? Look, it's a tricky question. APY is dynamic. It's also different for everyone because everyone joined at different times and a different pool size, which is why, as we are growing and figuring things out, which is why we have these incentive programs. So to the existing APY, if you add the additional incentive, the 1 million PRQ drop, the APY for you will be significantly higher. And I'm not even talking about the IQ Protocol airdrop for early adopters. So at the first stages, at the growth stage, this is why we do these incentive programs. So the APY in the end, when you combine it, will actually be very attractive.
And just to cover the 2 to 5 is lower than banks. My bank has negative interests, and I know a lot of European banks has as well. So actually, I lose money if I have more than, I think it's 10,000 euros in the bank. So it's definitely worth it, including all the incentives.
You know, I just opened Aave, and I just opened Compound. So for stable coins, they have APYs of like 2%, 2.5%. For non-stable coins, like pools for Chainlink, for Uniswap, for all these big tokens, the APY is close to zero. So I think we're doing pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, if you're not happy with the performance of PRQ, if you're not happy with the price, if you can't sleep at night with APY being somewhere between 5 and 10, 15% per year, deleverage or sell your PRQ and go into another project that you think has more potential. But I think we are as open and honest as they come. We share all our progress. We share weekly updates, bi-weekly AMAs, where you can ask the CEO of the company pretty much anything you want. There aren't a lot of projects out there doing just that. And I think it shows you a bit of what we're trying to accomplish here and what future we're building for. We're not just in it for the pump and dump if we were, we'd be somewhere else right now, creating another hype project with 10 billion MCAP, but nowhere to sell it. We're not chasing the money. We're trying to build real world utility, changing the world basically, without putting too much on our shoulders.
Exactly. Will there be an IQ Protocol website? Yes, website is ready, and we'll go live any day now. And when will the private investors be made public on the website? Usually projects list them before public sale. Indeed, we will announce the full fundraising round before the public sale. So pretty soon, January probably. I think we're pretty much over time here. We do have a bunch of more questions, but I think they're best left for next AMA, or maybe follow up on Telegram at some point. Yeah. So Daniel, any closing thoughts?
Let's see. I think the future is really exciting right now. I mean, joining the IQ team just a few months ago, I've met some amazing new people I didn't even know work for PARSIQ. Very talented developers, helping to onboard new people, seeing the enthusiasm once they hear what we're trying to accomplish. The new guy I'm talking about isn't really scheduled to start until January, but he's already pushing to find out more about how he can contribute all right now. So I think the future is very bright for us. The pipeline, as you mentioned multiple times, is insane. There's a lot of pressure on us to deliver right now, but I think we can accomplish it with the joint effort of the team and the backing from the whole community. As we're seeing come together, we're seeing a lot of positive comments coming out. We're seeing a lot of engagement now with our new social channels. We're seeing a lot of ideas from the marketing team come to fruition right now. I think it's just an overall very exciting time for the company. This is I've done new companies from the ground up before, and I think by far this is the most exciting I've ever participated in, and I can't wait to see where we go next.
Yep, exactly. Me too. I'm super stoked because I'm having countless calls with potential projects who will use protocol, with investors in IQ Protocol, with supporters and partners of IQ Protocol. Everyone is excited because this is something unique, something innovative. This is something that, you know, opens whole new layers for finance to come into the metaverse, for NFTs, for gaming, for a lot of aspects of the digital economy, and it just hasn't been done before. So it's really super exciting. It's always a balancing game. We need to, you know, consider our bandwidth. Then we need to do enough BD work to get these projects on board. Then the product team has to actually deliver for for this BD work, and so on and so forth. But so far so good. The interest has been massive. So it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. Things don't always go as planned. Some things take more time than expected, and this happens, especially in a space that is about, you know, that is disrupting the way we do things, and that's okay. I think all we have to do is show progress, work hard, and show actual adoption, get to the adoption point. And PARSIQ will not be lagging behind by any means. Currently, the PARSIQ team is far bigger. There's far more on the table because, like I said, the projects are in different stages. IQ Protocol is early stage. It's a bit more experimental, more PARSIQ is an established product, established project, and but in no way will PARSIQ have less limelight next year or less progress. They're just different types of progress that we're aiming for.
Well said.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I know I missed a bunch of questions at the end, but we're really out of time. I have back-to-back calls until I think midnight. Daniel has lots of stuff to do, so maybe you can post them to one of the community managers, and we'll try to get to them either on the next AMA or on Telegram. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.